Welcome to today's conversation. We have with us Philip Marshall of Phenna Group. We're in a pretty fortunate position because we get to have a conversation with an organisation at the moment that's doing some of the most interesting things, I think, from an acquisition perspective in TICC, growing fairly rapidly. So yeah, wonderful time to have this conversation today. Thank you very much for joining us, Phil.
Welcome.
Thank you. Can you just give us a quick introduction on what you do at Phenna Group?
Yeah, so my name is Phil Marshall. I'm the CEO of Phenna Group. I joined a couple of years ago. I was fortunate to know the founder, Paul Barry. I've known him for a decade.
Yeah.
We've been friends for many years, and yeah, fortunately he asked me to come and join him 2 years ago. So Paul transitioned as CEO to chair, and as I say, I've been the CEO for the last couple of years.
What did you do to entice you along then? Considering you were friends,
it was actually my wife.
Oh, okay.
So you know, hopefully we have partners who know as well. And so I was previously working in private equity, and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. But my wife said to me, you know, Phil, you don't seem to be smiling. You don't seem to be having as much fun as you normally do. I'm quite an informal person. I know Paul. I know the culture that he would try to build around him. And so my wife said, why don't you go do something that you're going to just be smiling more? And so I decided to join, and it's been that way since I have.
2 years of a big grin then following.
It's been 2 years of a big grin, yeah. We've been on a bit of a tear, but more than that, it's just the people we work, you know, at a certain point, at a certain point in your life, I think it applies all the time, but when you're a certain age, as I am in your 50s, who you work with and the type of environment you're in means everything. You just want to come to work and enjoy yourself, yeah. So it's very informal, our environment.
I couldn't agree with you more on that front though as well. You know, a lot of people have been in very sort of similar situations, I think, you know, I have as well. And when I finally kind of got to a point where I had a child, it was important for me as well to try.
Difference, yeah.
Oh, Jesus, I mean, you know, you said you're in your 50s, you look a lot better than I do. I'm in my mid-30s and I look 40s.
You're not sleeping.
Yeah.
I sleep now. My kids are adults, so I sleep well.
Fair enough. Well, a big part as well of Phenna's strategy at the moment is M&A. That's ramped up recently, I think we see. I swear I go on LinkedIn every week and there's a new acquisition that I'm just seeing published in the news. But just for anybody here that may be unaware that's seeing this today, how many acquisitions of Phenna actually gone through in the last 18 months?
So last year we did 26.
Okay.
April year to date we've done 12. We've got a couple more that should be announced next week. So we're going at a decent clip. So we have to do 2+ a month. We don't have that. So it will be what it will be. But I just look at the opportunity in front of us, and I think if you have the right team, so obviously John Harrison is our M&A lead, and the team and the support he has around him, and you have the right opportunity and you have the right model. So for us, I think we've got a model that resonates with founders, and so honestly, Jamie, I don't look at it and go 26 is good, it's not bad. I just think that the opportunity is there, so let's go and see if we can capitalize on it.
Without, I guess, giving too much away and too many of your kind of state secrets, I guess, within Phenna, you talk about a model that's working. You know, you may refer to it as a playbook or something like that. Can you tell me a bit about how your model is working for you guys?
Yeah, so I'd say a couple of things. First of all, we know what we like and what we don't like, So we're very disciplined in terms of what comes into the funnel. We've got a certain criteria around the founder, the brand, the metrics, the willingness to stay with us for a period of 5 years, to roll equity, etc. So we have a certain sort of, let's say, model, a certain playbook, as it were, so we can filter through potential acquisitions very quick. The second thing that I'd say is with the founders, you know, we're very clear what we are and we're very clear what we're not. So for example, a founder who just wants to maximize day one price, sell 100% and step out, which is fine. Yeah, that's not our model. And so if a founder wants that, we step away very quickly. If a founder actually talks about the family, their employees, the brand, the willingness to stay, they want to take some money off the table to de-risk their business, their investment, but they want to drive the growth in the future. They want a partner that can open up opportunities. We're a pretty good partner for them, And so then we start talking to them about that, and then we, basically, Jamie, most of the times with the founders, we introduce them to other founders. Yeah, okay. So one of our biggest selling points isn't Phil Marshall or Phil, I mean, clearly it is we say, well, listen, we've got all these other founders. Why don't you speak to them? Speak to them. And so we have the founders connect to existing founders, and they can tell them about the journey with Phenna.
Do you have like events then that you put on as well to a degree, or is it more like kind of open forum? You can go and speak to various other organisations and
several
founders?
things. So, for example, pre-deal.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's pre-deal. We just introduce you to founders. So we say to you, go onto our website. Here's the acquisitions we've done. Who do you want to meet? So we don't say, please go meet Jamie.
Yeah.
We say, you tell us who you want to go meet, and we'll introduce you. So we're pretty confident that our founders have had a good journey, are having a good journey with us. We do the things we say we're going to do, so we think they're pretty good salespeople for us. Once they're on board, so for example, like Italy and Spain, we're building out Italy and Spain. We will get them together once or twice a year. So we'll have a session together around how can we drive synergies, how can we help each other. Then we'll have a dinner for the informality of it. And then once a year, we get all our founders in around the world and we bring them to Ascot. We'll do that in June. We have a chairman's day that Paul organises, and we get all our founders in and our key support people, and we have like maybe 100 people at Ascot, and we have a fun day together there.
I mean, I've got to be honest with you. If anything we can do to get an invite, we'll absolutely do it.
It's a fun day. It's a fun day. It's a fun day.
Bloody love the races.
Very little work and a lot of social. It's a fun day. Yeah, it's a fun day.
That sounds wonderful. It seems to me as well more like you've kind of built up a bit of a network here, you know, of kind of interconnecting parts, rather than just trying to solder them together, to mold them and push them in ways that maybe that doesn't work. What I'm curious about, I guess, from that then is how did that strategy formulate itself? How did that begin? You know, whose kind of idea was it? And because it's very different, I think, to what traditional methodologies are within the tech market.
It was Paul. So Paul, when he created, let's say, Phenna, and started building out, his basic point was, we are here to support founders. Founders are critical to us. They're part of the family. And while strategically we may have a certain approach, what we're not going to do is bring a lot of bureaucracy and a lot of, let's say, pain to the founders. But at the same time, as we grow, we're going to leverage the power of the scale. Yes, if you think about like Phenna today, it's a lot different than, let's say, 5 years ago, simply because of scale.
Yeah.
5 years ago, we might have had 10, 15, 20 businesses. Now we've got almost 100. Yes, and so that brings scale. And therefore, in terms of integration, the playbook that we deploy, it's easier to deploy it because we've got scale. It's easier to get the founders to buy into it because they can see, you know, sister companies or brother companies around them that may or may not be doing similar things. So they see opportunities. So today, I'm not saying it was difficult before. It's a lot easier today to drive synergies and integration because we have scale.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point, because I can imagine it's very difficult at the very beginning then to try and give confidence. Paul was very fortunate, though, I think, that his background, you know, within the industry itself spoke for him in a big way. But yeah, it's a very interesting journey, I guess, that you guys have been on so far. So when you are identifying potential acquisition targets for the business, what are the criteria you're looking at? Yeah,
so first of all, we have 5 key segments that we look at.
Okay.
Yeah? So we have built environment, infrastructure, food and life sciences, industrials, certification and compliance. Of course, that's still quite broad within those, as you know. Yes,
it touches nearly everything in the world.
There's a lot of sub-segments in there, but we don't go outside of those 5, and even within those 5, there's sub-segments that we focus on. Yeah, so we stick to that. We don't go broader. Within that, you have to have a certain set of metrics. So we don't do low margin stuff. We don't do turnarounds. We don't do things where people tell us, you know, this is the business and suddenly there's a massive hockey stick coming in the future years. It's like, well, why are you selling your business then?
Yeah.
So we, and again, if it doesn't hit, if you look at Phenna today, we've always been high single digit organic growth, always, so above market. We're pretty much best in class margins around a sort of, you know, mid 20s. And so for us, doing things that deviate from that too much, we don't do. We have to have belief in the management team and the founder. The founder's got to want to stay and roll with us. So typically a founder rolls about 1/3 of the equity.
Yep.
So we typically invest 2/3 and he typically rolls 1/3 for 5 years. And then honestly, Jamie, the thing that one of the primary reasons we do or we don't do something is we sort of got to like you.
Yeah,
and that's 2 ways. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to work with someone 5 years, again, we don't do 100%. Yeah, we don't do this. We come in, we change your brand, we put the corporate. We work with you. Yeah, I mean, properly work with you. If you don't want to work with us or we don't want to work with you, I mean by that is if we just don't like each other, it's good to know that before you do something, and then just don't do it. And we're very transparent. It's like, listen, if you're not comfortable with us, and that's why we advocate to you, speak to the other founders, ask them what it's been like the last 2 or 3 years. So the stuff we're telling you is real. And we tell all founders, it's you've built this business for 10, 20 years. It's your family, it's your people. It's a big life event for you. You've got to be sure. So again, I'm sure you might have other offers. You've got to be sure what model you're walking into. You've got to be sure the people you're working with, yeah? So do your homework, yeah? And so I'd say a key one for us is, do we like you?
I kind of love that element of you're looking more at the kind of personal nature of how is this all going to work rather than scenarios where it's just purely
But it is people, Jamie, isn't it? It's people. I mean, at the end of the day, these founders, it's their business. It's not like, I mean, most of them occasionally have an MD, so occasionally they've stepped away in fairness day to day, but mostly they've been in there for 10, 15 years. It's their employees. Employees have been with them for years. One of the common questions we get when we're in negotiations is, just again, tell me what happens to the employees. Do I still get to do salary increases?
Okay.
Do I still get to make these choices? They're their employees, it's their family, yeah? And so for us, that matters. So when people start asking more about, simply about the price, the day one thing, and things that are a little bit more transactional, it doesn't mean that you should ask those things, but we like it when founders start asking us and challenges around employees, and that's a good sign for us. In the same way, if founders have family members in the business, that's a good sign for us, yeah? It means they care about the business. It probably means they're going to care for longer because family members are within the business, yeah? It's always about people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a people industry, I guess, as well, so it definitely resonates with me. If people don't like me, they're not going to talk to me.
No, it always comes back to people, yeah? Whether you connect with them, it's just always about people.
What happens at the 5-year mark then, if you don't mind me kind of quizzing on that?
Yeah, no, ask any questions you want. I mean, so we typically have a put call, so you roll your equity, and it usually is in 2 tranches. So the classic thing is you take 50% off the table after 3 years, and you take the final 50% of whatever you've rolled after 5 years, if you choose to. So we have the right to call it too. But what typically we say to the founders is, if you're enjoying it and you want to roll it further, just roll it again.
Yeah, okay.
Now we get asked the question like, well, if you're a growing business, shouldn't you call it? Because financially it's better for us to call it. Yes, but again, we care about the founders and we want you to make the most money you can, because then we're making the most we can.
Yep.
So if you choose to roll and you want to stay with us, we always roll. So if you look at last year, we had six put calls that came to its expiry date. And of those 6, 5 chose to roll. Okay. And the other 1 retired. So that is also an indication of that even the founders, when they get to the end, again, it's their business, it's their family, they're growing, they can see the numbers, they can do the math. We don't play games with them. We don't put allocations on the EBITDA, we don't put debt on the business, that they control the number, they can see how it translates. Most of the times they just want to roll with us again.
Well, do you know, considering the retirement element to that as well, these guys are doing something they love at the end. They built these businesses, they're getting to have fun in it. It's like playing in a sandbox, just with a lot less risk,
And they've taken it, but again, and the thing with the model is, again, some of them actually are taking the money off the table and they've become essentially an employee, and then we try to put, different things in place. But again, with the model, as the EBITDA grows, they're earning more because the equity is on that EBITDA.
Yeah, okay.
Any synergies they derive from the business, they get the benefit of. If we can lower costs, for example, we put them on our group insurance, our group fleet policy, our group tech, IT policy, they get the benefit of it. So it also, when we talk about integration playbook, a lot of it is basically what you call back office support related. They benefit from the support, they don't get charged for it. And they benefit from the cost out, which again, they benefit from in terms of equity roll, So we don't, the difficulty sometimes is as we do the transition, if you don't have the infrastructure, you don't have, let's say, the finance capability or whatever, the transition can be a little bit more difficult versus if you have, but we generally don't get resistance, Jamie, because they can see the benefit. It's like, okay, I'm getting your support for no charge, and I'm getting the EBITDA benefit of the procurement, which means I'm going to earn more on my equity. You don't get a huge amount of resistance as long as you work with them in how you time it.
When it comes to then integrating these guys into Phenna, for instance, maybe even that where the individual retired, what are the great challenges in integrating into a business like yours?
Yeah, we often get asked because the amount of acquisitions we do, and James, the biggest misconception I see of Phenna is the perception that we're not integrating. And it's like, well, you can't because you're doing too many acquisitions. And I look at that and smile and go, well, that's not true. We have a standard 100-day integration playbook. So you don't get a choice, and we're very clear up front. We sell all our acquisitions. Here's a seller's guide. Here's what we're not going to do, and here's the stuff we're going to do.
Okay.
Here's what's not going to change. Here's the stuff what's going to change. The fundamental thing that's going to change, which it would, I think, for almost all buyers, is finance.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've got to come on our chart of accounts. You've got to come on our closing cycle. You've got to come in our reporting format. 100% of our businesses are in a central BI tool. We close in 5 days. Yeah. So I can see all my numbers. I can see all the KPIs across all the businesses. Okay. Again, we're doing lots of acquisitions. So you have 100 days to get on. You're all coming into our health and safety reporting system. You're all coming into our HR processes. So it's standard across in terms of, we'll support you on marketing, etc. You're all coming on our global insurance. Yeah. So everyone's sort of standard in that. So it's a clear 100-day standard integration. Where we get more scale, so if you look where we've got more scale, like in the UK, then we start deploying an ERP system, central sales organization, central shared service. If you look at the UK today, about the biggest segment we've got, infrastructure, it's on one ERP. About 40% of my global business is now on one central ERP. We're all on one central procurement system. So there's a lot of integration happens once you build scale. Yeah, if you'd asked me this 3 or 4 years ago, so I think the perception somewhat of Phenna is 3 or 4 years ago. But 4 years later, we're way bigger. Yeah, we're sort of $1 billion plus on revenue. We've got almost 100 businesses. It lends itself to integration now.
I mean, it's definitely a success story, to say the least, considering where you guys have come from, where you've got to now. But I think what surprised most people in particular, and individuals I've spoken to in the TICC market, is it almost seems like you came out of absolutely nowhere. And all of a sudden, especially this year, it's just acquisition after acquisition after acquisition.
But it feeds itself. It feeds itself. So again, it's like scale feeds itself. Yeah? So in my mind, it's like as we get bigger, more and more's coming to us. So first of all, we brought John Harrison in. John is Mr. TICC. So first of all, he's connected. So he sees things that we didn't see. Okay, as we bring scale, the OpCo, the operating company founders, they know people. And because of their experience, they're recommending Phenna because of their experiences. The brokers are more aware of us, so they're feeding us more stuff. Then we're recruiting people like Tori, who he feeds us stuff. We've got a very experienced management team, many of which have been in the industry. Many of our managers were the acquisitions from 4 or 5 years ago, grown inside of Phenna. So again, when we talk about how do you onboard and integrate, we've got a very experienced management team. I've been doing this for 20 years, so it's like my CFO's been in private equity for many years. He's scaled businesses, so it's feeding itself on top of a very experienced team. So again, I'm not trying to downplay it, Jamie, but again, when I hear these comments, I'm like, well, I'm not saying it's easy. It's not easy, but I don't get it's as hard as people make out it is. It's like we've got a model. We've got founders who want to join. We've now got this momentum. We've got a very experienced management team. We've got a playbook that we deploy. We don't deviate from it.
It's the right momentum.
It's the right momentum.
It's a big snowball, and it's getting bigger and bigger. It's exciting.
And it comes back to your point, your piece on recruitment is like, again, if people say, well, how do you do more? Well, we just expand the team and we get, more experienced people like Tori. Like John's team has expanded now. We've got 8, 9 people in the M&A team. Maybe end of the year we'll have more, because it's like, well, there's the opportunity. We'll go get more smart people and we'll keep scaling.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's definitely something we'll talk about separately in that case, Phil. But when you're looking at your recent history, since you've been a part of the organisation, is there like a landmark case that you're looking at and you're going, that one was very difficult to secure, that was a big challenge going through it? Is there any, I guess, that you're particularly proud of that you want to mention as a bit of a study?
No, I mean, in terms of acquisitions, there's so many different ones. I mean, no, I think, honestly, no. I mean, there's many where we've had to work really hard, but that's just because the founder, of course, has got multiple offers and he wants to make sure he makes the right decisions. So we've had to work hard in terms of just time, spending time with you as a founder. So many times we have to have multiple meetings, and that's a good thing for us, not a bad thing. So I'd say we have quite a few of those. But there's some of our businesses, like I'll take ATL. ATL is a business we acquired, Atlantic Testing Labs in upstate New York. We acquired that in March 25, I think. Decent sized business. Great example where they came on board with fantastic attitude, but actually more capability than most of our businesses. So again, we've leveraged their finance capability, we've leveraged their legal capability, we've leveraged their IT capability. We've already done one bolt-on acquisition. We're looking at other things for them. So that's a great example where on both sides, not only have we done the things that we said we'd do, they've very much done the things that they'd said to do. They've worked with us around integration. We've been able to leverage their resources. We've just done another one in, I think it was February this year, QTI in the Netherlands. Edwin, Jeroen and the team, incredibly professional team, really, really top-class people. They've got a strong finance function. Again, onboarding. I mean, they were so proactive. It was almost like we told them the things that we needed to do, and literally the day we closed, they were straight on it. It's like, okay, here we go, yeah? So they were like pushing us.
Yeah.
So there's those cases where, I mean, as you can imagine, many cases, smaller businesses, they don't have the capability. They might outsource finance, they might outsource HR. Onboarding integration is a bit more difficult, yeah? It takes a bit more time. But cases like ATL and QTI, they're always good because honestly, they make our life so much easier. Honestly, they almost do the work for us, which is good.
You know what, you'll take that all day of the week.
Or you really would.
I guess when it comes to, you've got loads of experience then in this case dealing with founders in particular and kind of getting to know those guys and understanding some of the challenges they face, because it does seem quite an empathetic sense that you have with them. But if you were going to send a message out today to any founder that sat there considering the possibility of selling and looking at a scenario like this, what advice would you give them?
I'd say, first of all, let all of us decide what you want and you don't want. Again, James, there's a big difference between, everyone will say, I want to maximize price.
Yeah.
But once you get into models, it's not as simple as apples and oranges. They're not quite the same, yeah? And so maximizing day one, like for example, in our model, because you roll equity and there's a lot of benefit on the back end, and we don't put like charges onto you, we don't put interest costs like a lot of private equity guys would. Therefore, the total benefit you can get from us is typically far larger than a day one number.
Yeah, okay.
But if you want to maximize day one, you have to decide in your head. So I'd say, first of all, decide in your head what's the priority for you. The second thing I'd say to you, if you really do want to stay with a business, and typically founders, their employees mean everything to them, be very clear what it is that someone's going to do, and do your reference checking, Jamie. Because again, I don't want to just like exaggerate this, but it's important. We do tell the founders, listen, I tell you straight and I tell you honestly what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. But I fully understand you as a founder, you have concerns. It's like, it's nice you say that, Phil. But almost some founders say to us, it sounds too good to be true. I don't really believe it, Phil. I don't believe it can be that way, which is why we say to you, go speak to the fellow founders. Speak to folks. And so what I'd say to you is, whoever you're going to partner with, do your homework. It's a once in a lifetime thing. You spent 20 years building a business. Spend the time to know who you're going to partner with, yeah? Because you're going to partner with them maybe for many years. So do your homework, I'd say.
What's the longest standing founder that you've got in your organisation?
Well, our first one. So, I mean, the first acquisition we did was Eric Anson. So now Eric, so we did the Anson acquisition. That was basically the first deal. And Eric and his family supported Paul to do a management buyout and do it. So Eric's been with us. He's as much Phenna as anyone. Eric now runs the Americas.
Oh, okay.
So his number two, Mark, took over Anson. He's also doing a fabulous job. He's been there many years. Eric now runs the Americas, so he's still with us. Acquisition number 2, they retired, and the number 2 became the number 1. Acquisition number 3, Anthony, PSL, still with us, still running the business. Number 4, BET, Brian, still with us. His number 2 took over, and he's now running the built environment division. So many of the original founders are still with us.
And they've also been given opportunities in which to progress in a larger environment.
If you look at the Americas, Eric was an acquisition. If you look at our built environment, Brian. If you look at certification division, big division for us, Mike Andrews, we invested in his NAPIT business. He became the head of the division. If you look at Brett in Australia, he did the first acquisition for us. Whatever it is, 18 acquisitions later, he's running Asia. So we try to promote within. Most of our founders, as you can imagine, and we get asked this question too, it's like, well, aren't you worried when the founders leave? No, many of them, as you can see, don't leave. But more than that, it's their business. They care. So what they ensure is there's a successful transition. They don't just leave. And most of the time, the transition is the number two. So that number two's been there many years, and the founder cares. You know what I'm saying? So we actually, it's not, I'm not saying you don't have one or two issues, but it's not the issue that people perceive, because again, the founder cares.
Yeah, okay. Phil, thank you for that. Genuinely huge words of wisdom for many individuals, I'm sure, that will watch this in the industry or kind of look at the situation and go, okay, maybe we need to replicate some of these things. So you may be breeding a whole new degree of competitors.
Competition is good.
Yep, I suppose so. But just wanted to say thank you very much for taking the time, sitting down and discussing this with us.
Pleasure. Thank you very much for your time.
All right, cheers. Thank you.